Let us continue playing Darkest Dungeon as we seek to restore the Darkest Shadowhawk estate to its former glory by, dealing with this, fixing up the town, going on adventures, and hopefully clearing the Darkest Dungeon of our own making, or at least our father's own making. I am focused, ready for action. Indeed I am, and as you will notice, I have actually decided to name my characters, which I will probably continue doing because this will take, add a little bit of interest to it, as it always does, and I like renaming characters where it's possible. There's only one mission available. It is this one. It is a skirmish. Let us begin. God damn, how do I begin these? Oh yeah, but make the party from the roster. So, for this, we all need to know where people are generally supposed to be based. As you can see here, there's only one person who's got abilities that mostly work in the front. This is sort of an indicator of how often the target appears in these spheres. As all four of his things are the front two, that's what he's good at. Marajin has most of his abilities active in the middle. Disaster Dylan has a few that you can use at the front, 1 and 1, which is the Emboldening Vapors and the Noxious Blast, I think he can use there. He also has the Slow Draw, so -4 speed on the first round. Undead Slayer and Fast Healer, though. It could be helpful if he survives long enough to do camping. What did Marajin have? Marajin is a known cheat. We all knew it. But he's got Hard Noggin and Quick Reflexes, which gives him a speed boost. And Little Debbie is also a known cheat. Winded, so she loses speed if she goes below half health. Has additional damage if the torch is above 75, and has additional hit points, which is always a good one to have. Meanwhile, I'm a god-fearing kleptomaniac crusader. Sounds appropriate. But I also get a damage bonus if our light source is high. So, we want Marajin then in the second row, because that's the most useful position for him to be. Little Debbie is actually a bit all over the place, but I think with both her attack abilities, Little Debbie's probably better in the middle, which are still at the back. The Red Hook, which is the name for this particular band, and we can go and do provisions. So,
the cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
It recommends for the first quest 8 food, 4 torches. We're not going to be doing that. We are going to have 8 food, but we're going to have 6 torches. Why? Because even though we have some light abilities on both Little Debbie and myself, we get bonuses for having additional light source. So I'm willing to spend the money now to not have to worry about that later. The other thing we're going to be doing is picking up a couple of bandages, which I always find useful, and 1 shovel. Also, 1 skeleton key. So we spent a fair amount of money here, but remember we can sell some of this back if it comes to it, and we should get 3,000 if we complete the adventure. This is a big if. We shall embark. So, the quest is find all of the room encounters. So there are battles that are set in various rooms around the dungeon. We just have to get to them. We do not have to explore everything, and nor should we, because if we explore everything, we will suffer for it. So let's hope we find them all early and we don't end up going miles in the wrong direction.
And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
So as you can see, we begin here. The downside of what I've just said is that we start in the middle. Had we started on either of the ends, this would be a lot easier, but it means we're almost certainly going to have to backtrack one way or another. So the chances of all the room encounters being on one side and it being the side we pick are not high. So we begin, because we also suffer additional stress for covering areas we already have. So this is our light source, currently 100. It will drop as we move. And the sack's contents are mine. Now, kleptomania means he will occasionally try and steal whatever is there. This is a pain, because obviously we want it. So you can see, slowly losing light. Also trap. But he seems to be okay with that, so that's fine. So our light source has now gone below the... Actually, we're still at 76, but going in here means we now move to 70. And we've encountered a room. So, stressful incantation to begin. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but does cause 20 stress. Debbie is now 1/5 of the way towards critical stress. 2/5 of the way towards critical stress, actually. I still don't know what happens if you get 200. I've not let it get that bad, but 100 is bad enough. So as you can see, a lot of people there, and a bone courtier at the back, who is unholy. We do extra damage to unholy opponents with the Shadowhawk. So what we're going to do at this stage is we are going to actually open vein the cultist. So he's now bleeding and taking additional damage. So, Dazzling Light is a ranged attack, and we have a heal, which is a spot heal for 3 to 5. We don't actually have a group heal, which I thought we did have actually on the original one, but apparently that's random as well. Still. Dazzling Light. This will also, as you all know, increase the torch level by 6 points. And since we do stun, minus 75% damage, 80% chance of hitting, we're going to hit the Acolyte with this. And it's caused a stun effect as well. Tempting Goblet. 3 damage and another 20 stress, so Little Debbie's in trouble. Okay, bleed and debuff on you. Right, Disaster Dylan has the best power. He also has Battlefield Medicine, which I didn't realize he had. Ooh, okay, hold on. Battlefield Medicine. Let's get rid of that bleed effect. That is awesome that Dylan is our medic, and also it is appropriate that Dylan is our plague doctor. Right, since we have one guy near death and also bleeding, I'm going to go for my area effect here, and try and hit both the Kim and the guy here, who is unholy. We should do extra damage to unholy things. No, actually the sword does additional damage to unholy, so we might want to go that way. No, I'm still going to go with this. One down, but it's left a corpse. Now, obviously, with our with attack ranges, this guy being here is going to be a pain. He is still bleeding, though. He still suffers for that. But now we're going to go Grape Shot. And we dealt with the corpse, so everybody shifts up. This also affects what kind of attacks they have. As you can see, we're starting to suffer a little from the stress. You're debuffed. And we're going to do a heal. And now, we're going to go Noxious Blast on... Who do we want to do this on? I think we're probably going to do it on you. 1 damage and Blight. Blight is similar to Poison. It does 4 damage per round. She has 4 hit points left, so she's actually dead. She doesn't know it yet, but she is. Does she still got a turn left? No, there's no tick next to her name. This guy does have a turn left, so we definitely want to smite the Bone Defender.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And he gained 2 virtue for that. So again, we know you're dead, so all we have to deal with is the guy here.
As the
shot for 11.
Falls,
a crit.
faint hope blossoms.
Indeed. And we shall take all. The good...
Foolish horrors.
I'm being
low and driven into the mud.
I'm being interrupted a lot. So, whenever you make a critical hit, you cause yourself to have virtue points added. Virtue points are anti-stress points, as I've already mentioned, but it also has the effect of a possibility of affecting people next to him. What we've gained here is for Dark Bracer, plus 3 crit if torch is below 25, minus 3 dodge if it's below 51. So, it's actually not that helpful to us, but it's still an uncommon item and we might be able to sell that for money. So, we move on to the next room, where we've made an encounter, and I should really have torched up before this. Nevertheless, we have surprised them. When they're surprised, they appear in a random order, which sometimes is beneficial, and also we have initiative on them. So, with everything being unholy here, I think we're just going to go for you. Dodged. Even though the dodge effect happened, though, the light effect still goes, which is okay by us. Next up, I think we're going to go for Open Vein. And they have Bleeding Resist because they're unholy. Next up, we're going to go for... I'm going to go for the Vapors, which will buff Shadowhawk here, who is now going to go for Zealous Acquisition in the hope of doing 4 damage to the back guy.
Press this advantage.
He did, in fact he killed both.
No quarter.
So surprise round's over. Tempting Goblet. Causes 17 stress. And a quarrel. Arrow in the shoulder. That's fine. You can live with an arrow in the shoulder. Downside is, though, we're starting to take some damage. So obviously we still have corpses to worry about, but we aren't too interested in that. I'm just going to go and shoot you. Next up, we're going to go for battlefield medicine. Actually, that only heals 1. It's best for other things, so I'm going to go with my good old plague grenade. It did a crit, so we gain additional stress relief, and also we have blighted both opponents. So that blighted guy there is dead. The downside is I can't really hurt anybody else, so I think we're going to go with a heal turn here. And heal Marishin up. Critical hit on that. And even though we did the critical hit, Marishin gains the extra stress relief. Again, since I can't hit anything at the back, we're going to go with a Bulwark of Faith. This will increase the torch. It will mark him, so he's more likely to be attacked, but also increase his protection score. And, of course, increase the light effect a little. Unfortunately, it hasn't gone for him. And you're down another 4 hit points. Okay. Shot at the back. 11 crit.
Destroy them all.
And again, we know this guy is dead, so we're just going to use the Bulwark of Fate and try and increase our light score a little. There we go. Light's gone up to 78. And he's dead.
Death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Okay, so medicinal herbs will cure the blight if we have them, so huzzah. We now have a recovery there. And I'm going to move on a little to the next area. And because we've now done that, I'm going to use this to increase the light level back to 97. Each of these increases the torch level by 25. Let's loot the bookshelf. Knowledge within forever changes the hero. This can be good or bad. Warren Scrounger is a good effect. So what this means, if I move to you now, you gain an extra 10% scouting chance in the Warrens, which means extra 10% chance of an effect you haven't seen yet, but we'll get there. Stack of books. And this is where it goes bad. We've read an unsettling passage, and that has caused the light to dim. We shall retorch. And we enter. So room 2. We have 5 torches left. Remember, we recommended 4. 4. And here we go. Tempting Goblet. The good news is we encountered 2 room encounters. I don't think there's going to be more than 3. Still, let's get on with it. So, we have a human in range. We're going to go with him first. 13 crit and bleeding. He's dead.
Slowly, gently.
He didn't even drop a corpse.
Our life is taken.
Okay. Dazzling Light. And since you've still got a move to go, we're going to go for the Acolyte. Dodged. We had additional torchlight, so... Dylan, are you stressed yet? Are you stressed? Apparently, yes. Okay, Noxious Blast then. We do have a human left. Actually, no. Who hasn't gone yet? You haven't gone yet. So I'm going to go and use my effects on this guy to give him an Shadowhawk so he does additional damage. 25%. Bump in the night for 2. And now I can kill one of these. In fact, I'm going to kill one of these. We're going to smite you. 25 crit. Truth prevails, and everybody gained 4 from the super crit I managed there. Eldritch Push. No damage, but... Oh, he resisted. Okay, now whenever the Eldritch Push and pull abilities allow basically force changes in the order. Not something we generally like. I'm also going to, though, go for more Vapors on the Shadowhawk. We want to keep his buff going. And in fact, it stacks, if you notice there. We now have a plus 50% to damage and an increase in speed. And because of that, we're going to go Grape Shot. Provided we hit with both these effects, this will be game. Dodged. Dazzling Light. We have a dodgy cultist here. We don't like. Goodness, the light effect is increasing still. Noxious Blast. 2 and Poison. So 4 damage per round. That means she's dead next round regardless of what happens. No damage, 17 stress. And also, she's turned the lights slightly off. I'm I'm inclined to wait, so I'm going to go for a tracking shot here. Which he dodged. Bulwark of Faith. Let's increase the light levels a little. And I'm going to go for a heal on you. The only reason we're doing this is you cannot really heal outside of combat. There are ways, but they are bad ways. Oh, we heal for 2, crit, and death.
Death by inches.
Locked sarcophagus. This is where we're going to use the key. 775 gold. So not bad. And we get to scout. This is good. This will tell us whether there is an encounter in the next room. There is not. So we're not even going to waste time with that. We're going to go back round. And also, because our light level is now 77. Yep, light level just goes down. Torch to put it back up.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
The downside is we do take stress for backtracking. It's annoying, but you do. But knowing there's no encounter in that last room is helpful. Here we go, hunger. So every so often, hunger will occur. We can eat 4 food to regain 5% health each, or we can go hungry and take 20% damage plus stress. Running out of food is not something you want to happen. Running out of light is strangely more beneficial. So we're back to the start area now. And we're going to move to this room. With luck, there won't be too much here, except the trap, which has done 6 damage. And of course caused some stress. The books. Okay, none remarkable. We can live with that. Light level goes down, light level goes up. And we salvaged the unburned torch. This normally causes virtue points, but didn't this time. And of course means we've got a little more light we can play with. Okay, no encounter here. And no scouting. So we continue on. Hopefully the next room, but we're in okay shape actually. This normally goes a bit worse, this first mission. Random encounter. Okay, so we start with you. 3 bugs. Let's go for a Highwayman triple shot. 553. As you can see, these do not have a lot of hit points. Nevertheless, we're going to go for a light spell, which does minimal damage, so I'm just going to hit this maggot. Go for the kill, gain a bit of light. And actually we gain some virtue points for doing that. Bite for 2. These can cause... yeah, blight has just been caused. And unfortunately, we have a turn next before our Plague Doctor to heal it. So, what we want to do here really is not finish things off. We want to give Dylan a turn to try and heal us of the plague a bit. So medicine, please. Cured. Fortunately, this gives him a turn to do 3 damage. Also, why is your speed down? I'll have to check that. You're stunned as well. But open vein. And more virtue points. And 4 family crests for that.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
It is. Nevertheless, we beat the bugs.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
This pack contains loot. So we gain 2 food, some onyx, and some... We're getting quite a lot of money out of this quest, actually, which is good, because we need money for later. For now, though, another encounter. Hopefully the last one. Let's see how it goes. Tempting Goblet. 15 more stress, meaning we're up to 54. This, though, is Plague Grenade territory now. After this, we want to go for a... I'd rather get that guy killed, so I want to go for you. 11 critical, and he is dead. Marishin is really good, I'll be honest at this point. He's extremely good. Right, this time I want to heal Marishin. Critical for 10. 4 virtue points back. This has barely been even an encounter, really, for him, in terms of stress.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
And now he moves to you. Because all of these are unholy, we might as well smite because it will do more damage. Going straight for Defender. Missed. Dead weight. 3 damage. And he's knocked him back a space and stunned him. Less than ideal, but we'll work with it. So, Noxious Blast. No damage, but did it blight? It did. Tempting Goblet. And now he's in the front, he doesn't have as much options here, but we're going to go straight for Slash the Bone Defender. Well, there's less chance of causing... Yeah, there was less chance of it, but it could have happened. Alright, stun, and now he gains the resistance to his stun. Axe Blade. Still doing okay here, really. We got some heals, but I'm actually going to go for a light spell here. And we're going to hit you, because if we hit, that will kill. But of course it misses. Well, they'll be extremely useful, but just not really in their element right now. That's lethal. Okay, next up, Noxious Blast on the Bone Soldier. And we get another chance of this. Dazzling Light, 3 damage, lethal.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
So everyone's falling over and dying, which is always a good thing. Blight appears, and a Graveyard Slash for 8. But we have a Smite, and Smite says bye. Right, gain additional food, and we have finished the quest.
They can be beaten.
Now, though, we're going to do something a little silly. We're going to try and open the heirloom chest. Oh, it wasn't locked, actually. Huzzah, we gain 2 more deeds, 4 more crests, and we shall complete the quest. That was actually rather easy.
Return to rest. Devils remanded to their abyss.
So we gain 3,550 free treasure on top of the 3,000 we were getting, and we have a lot of heirlooms. In fact, we have a lot of heirlooms there. Good news is we will need them. So we gain 2 resolve experience. As you see, we need 8 to go up to the next level, but 2 additional experience for you 2 is always helpful. Let's unlock the... Oh joy. Oh joy. Okay, so Wheeled Adventurer, 20% less stress in the wield, 10% scouting chance in the Warrens, minus 20% weapon upgrade cost. That's going to be helpful for later. And Nearing, which gives 10% damage to ranged skills, which Dylan is entirely about. Not only was that good, it wasn't useless, which a lot of them can be, even if they're good. Okay, well, honestly, yeah, that went far too easily. The next mission might be more interesting, though, because now we've got stress to worry about.
Beneath the manor, a crawling chaos that must be destroyed.
Over time, negative quirks will lock into place and become severe quirks. Severe negative quirks cost much more to remove. I think, though, we're okay here. So you gained a level up there. Is now apprentice level 1. We now unlocked the tavern and the abbey. Now, the tavern is for stress relief.
Cards and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
The downside is, of course, that the caretaker takes up a place in these, so there's always limited spaces available. Nevertheless, there is also a cost. There's also a cost to this, and also we can get negative traits from this as well. So what we want to do is we want to put Shadowhawk into. Oh, actually, what is your effect here? Kleptomaniac, which is now critical there. Will only pray for stress. He's God-fearing, so he can only pray in the Abbey. This is slightly annoying, but not the end of the world.
The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The Abbey calls to the faithful.
So, Shadowhawk will pray. That means he's not going to adventure next round, and he's just going to pray and try and remove some of the mass stress he's got. In fairness, Little Debbie and Dustin don't have great levels of this, so I'm actually probably not going to do too much about this. Now, we can increase the power of this by upgrading this, but we might not want to. What we do want to do is pick up some new heroes. As you can see, we've now picked up a Seeker Abomination.
Tortured and reclusive, this man is more dangerous than he seems.
A Man-at-Arms and another Plague Doctor. This Plague Doctor has Blinding Gas rather than with Noxious Blast. Still has a Blade Grenade. He's a bit more of a all-rounder, though. Disorientating Blast is all clear all corpses. Shuffle single enemy party. That's actually rather good. He also has Quick Draw, so +4 speed on it, and will not drink in town. I have no idea what this class is. He seems to have everything unlocked, though, oddly. Will turn any miss into a hit. Oh, a chance to turn any miss into a hit. And obsessed with food. I think this guy's a werewolf. But, okay, something to work out. We have no diseases currently because we haven't unlocked the sanatorium, which cures them. And finally, Bollum, who is, as you can see here, mostly a frontline fighter. Crush, Bellow, which does a few things there. Eldritch Hater. And Cove Scouting. Still, could be worse. I'm not going to upgrade too much here, but I might consider the cost of this. So that'll increase our roster to 12. We're getting 3 new adventurers next round.
More arrive, foolishly seeking fortune and glory in this domain of the damned.
So sorting by stress, you have currently a stress value of 48. You have a stress value of 37. Marathon's probably going to go into a next adventure in any case, as our gunner. So I think we can probably afford to put Little Debbie in the tavern to try and relieve some stress. So she's going to go out drinking. We want to save things for the moment because the one thing we will need to unlock is the guild and the blacksmith. And we'll need those unlocked soon. So I'm not quite willing to sell any of my items short just yet. But Nomad Wagon allows us to buy additional trinkets and things. But overall, yeah, 2 down, a load more to go. And we'll see you next time, folks. Until then.